Welcome back to Impact Effect Podcast. We've got a stunning guest today, a good friend of mine. We met each other, went to some personal development stuff, kept in touch, done some events, worked together, but just an overall gem of a human. And you'll realize that as we get into the episode because he's doing all this amazing stuff and really just a great human being. Please help me welcome the founder of Mr. Flippy, William Vaughn.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, brother. I'm excited, man. Every time I get with you, that smile, it's contagious. You got me smiling. I can feel the energy. I just appreciate you, how you show up and how you live your life, man. So I'm excited to dive in today.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity, man. I feel the same about you.
Well, let's
Y'all
go.
get that positive energy.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I appreciate that too. As always, we ask every single guest, we kick it off with one question, two-parted question, but how do you define the word impact? And then how do you show up in the world and provide positive impact today?
So I would say I define impact by legacy and also the effect that you leave on other people. But more so that legacy of, I ask myself this question a lot too. Like when I die and leave this earth, what will people remember me for? So I want to make sure that has a positive effect on others that I come in contact with. And of course, we can't make everyone happy in life, but I strive to be the most genuine person that I can be to others and to leave a positive impact on them. So I would say legacy and the effects that you have on others. And I guess how I'm making a positive impact today, I would say really by putting in place some processes and systems in my business and just in my life that can open doors for others, because I really love seeing other people win. And I love creating scenarios that can be a win-win, possibility for everyone involved. So I would say just that possibility of winning and providing hope for others.
Ooh, that hope word. I love that. I love that. When it comes to doing that and opening doors and possibilities, you had mentioned like you can't make everybody happy, right? Like obviously, when you experience that, how does that make you feel when someone doesn't win with you?
I say probably my personality, like I said, I'm probably naturally a non-confrontational personality. But obviously I know sometimes we have to address things that may not go as planned. And I say probably my initial thought, if something's not going as expected, maybe that inner disappointment, like this did not pan out the way that I expected it to. But at the same token, I use it as a learning curve, a learning experience. And I always say the glass is half full, not half empty. So I'm probably like an extreme optimist where I can see the good in anything. And I strive to keep my attention on that. So a lot of times when people see that I'm always smiling or I seem happy, that's because I guess I choose to keep my mind on the good things that are in circumstances, what I can draw from it, learn from it, and keep growing and moving forward with it.
I love it. I love it. How do you do that though? Like shit's just happening. You're like, everybody has bad days. How do you keep positive? How do you just radiate that optimism?
I guess really by just, I would say, I can't say I've always been like that. So really, I look at it as a mental training, of training my mind to focus on the good in circumstances. And even, I'm not trying to go extra deep, but I say there's a scripture in the Bible that I like. It's in the book of Romans 8:28. And it says, all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So it says all things work together for our good. So if I know, even if a circumstance doesn't look good, but if I know there's something beneficial in it, I strive to keep my mind on the beneficial part, not what appears to be the negative or the harassing part.
I love that. I love that. It is deep. You said I don't want to go deep, but I'm like, let's go deep, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. When have you had to really dig down in your soul to get there, to get that positive, to find that thing that was beneficial? Like anything happen in your journey of life where you really had to dig deep for that positive?
I would most definitely say so. There's probably been a few circumstances where one thing I say that that joy and happiness, in my personal perspective, is not based on what happens to you, but it's based on what you allow to happen in you. So you can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. So that's what I strive to focus on. But yeah, man, just in life, man, there's been certain relationship disappointments of people you thought were for you that were not for you, or even in business, like projects that may not go as expected, that you have to shift your mind to see the good in it or the learning possibilities of it. So man, I say I probably have those opportunities in some way every day to try to keep my, even just in traffic every day. I can complain about traffic, or I can be thankful that I have a car. So some people might not have a car. So there's always something. I say gratitude really helps you to keep that positive mindset in every circumstance.
That gratitude, it's something that when you just jump in it, man, it almost like snaps you right back to reality. I was recently thinking last summer, around the middle of summer, June, July, I can't remember exactly, but my air condition went out in my car. And it was a couple weeks till it got fixed, and I had to go to a business appointment. And I was like, wow, this is painful. Like just something as simple as air conditioning your car, I'm taking for granted. And to experience it and to show up to that business meeting. And William, when I say soaked, I meant to my undies.
Yeah.
Like my socks, I probably could have wringed out. Like it was my whole shirt. It was just, wow, people are driving around Nashville in 98-degree weather, high humidity, and they don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Right? So how can I complain? And then knowing that I've got the money to fix it, and it's in the process, and I'm educated enough to call a couple places and not go with the expensive one, and to get it done, right? And like you start going down this track of life, and this one circumstance, 40, 50, 60 things to have gratitude around, right? And it always brings me back, like whenever I'm in it, and this happened yesterday. I was just in that negative, a lot of stuff happening at once, and I was thinking back, I'm like, let me just close my eyes and start listening to some sounds. And I heard birds chirping and cars rustling in the back, and someone's alarm went off, right? And it was kind of like that pulse to that serenity, where it was like I was kind of in harmony. I was kind of like not meditating, but just kind of letting my brain calm. And then this car alarm goes off. And I had a choice to make, right? Did that car alarm piss me off and ruin that small piece of serenity? Or could I be grateful that car alarms exist in this world? And I can go to bed at night and I can think, oh, I left my wallet in the car, but I know I locked it because I always lock my car, and it's safe. And I don't have to get up and come upstairs and trip over kids' toys in the dark and, put on all the lights and wake people up and go lock my doors, or even think that my wallet's going to get stolen because my doors are locked and because I have a car that has an alarm system. Then I start thinking, I'm like, well, I'm grateful for the toy I tripped over and stubbed my toe, right? Like, because there's toys on the floor. I have money to buy toys for my kids. And, right? And I have kids, and we struggled with that, and we lost 2 kids, and I almost lost my wife. And how can I be mad at the toy on the ground? I wished and wanted for these toys to be here, right? Like, you go down this path of, you can be grateful for so many things in life.
And I agree.
It's such a grounding experience.
And I agree 100%. Even in that situation where you say you were soaked with sweat, you can be thankful for good deodorant.
But it's the little things, right? And we skip over them. What are do you ever pause and just reflect in real time? Like, is there any things where you have experienced even recently that might be these like micro miracle moments where we can have gratitude?
Most definitely. I say even, especially running a business, like there's always some type of a, obstacle or challenge that we're facing. But I see just how no matter what deadlines or opposition seems to come against certain, projects, that it seems like things always fall in place at the right time. And it may not be the time frame that I wanted it to be on the front end, but like when it all comes together, I can see the perfect timing of it. So really just being grateful for alignment and right timing on things.
I love it. I love it. A question for you, something that sometimes struggle with. You're high energy, optimistic, positive, glass half full, right? That you had mentioned earlier. How do you navigate when you're in a social experience or in a business deal or in a relationship with someone who is negative, someone who's low vibration, a little bit more glass is not half full, so to say?
Hmm.
How do you regulate? How do you navigate those human connections?
Yeah, and so I'll probably say in some instances, I can see certain benefits of the opposite of me where they may point out more of potential flaws or pitfalls in the road and things like that. So, I mean, it has some benefit to balance out my mindset where I can see it from a different point of view. So, I won't even say that they're a wrong person if they're more pessimistic. Like, they just may be pointing out things that, I may not been aware of. But I would say if a person is like just excessively pessimistic, that I found just for my own peace of mind, sometimes it's better to separate from certain relationships where if you have to constantly be dealing with negativity, that I've discovered, man, it's not worth staying around that, and it can begin to weigh on you or like can be a mental burden upon you. So kind of finding that balance where even if someone is pessimistic, there still can be truth in what they're saying. But then if it's like excessive, you may have to limit your interactions with them.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. I think that opposition is great because sometimes I take too much risk, right? Let's just face it. I'm known to dive all the way in a lot of cases, or navigate a product or a creation and just kind of go. And sometimes I need that, like, hey, is this the right market? Is this the right time? Is this the right, product fit in a lot of cases? So I love that piece. But I also, to your point, I think it weighs on me sometimes. And that's the relationships that I struggle with, right? And I think having that boundary up a little bit is important for me, knowing that I want to help or advise or guide, but there is that reflection back that starts to weigh a little bit. How do you have a conversation with that person? How do you navigate that?
I mean, really, still just striving to see the value in them as a person and the value in their perspective. Because, like I say, just because someone is pessimistic or appears to be negative, that, like I say, there still could be value in what they're saying or truth in what they're saying. So that's one thing I strive to be, a person who loves the truth. So no matter what source it comes from or in what form it could come off aggressive, but I look at is what they're saying real, and I say, man, that I gotta accept that. But then, like I say, I like what you said, having good boundaries. That I can say that's something I know I've been guilty of not having good boundaries at time where you can allow just anyone close to you. And that actually a few years ago, I had to do some evaluation of my own self. Just looking at the relationships that I had and asking myself, are they bringing a real positive value into my life? And if the answer is no, then sometimes it requires a separation. So I can't say it's just a cookie cutter answer, but that's my answer.
No, I love it because it's real, and and you talked about the truth, and what you just said is the truth. Is it's situational, right? And in a lot of cases, and complexity around relationships, complexity around energy. I often talk about like energy vampires, right? And it's not so much that those are bad humans, right? It's just there's not alignment at a level that I'm seeking,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a level of alignment that I'm also trying to protect,
Hmm.
right? And when I'm out of bounds or I'm out of my boundary, that's where I struggle. And it doesn't only affect me, it affects everything around me. My wife, my kids, right? Everything. I think you can go down to finances, you can go to business, you can go to friendship. So it's important for me to protect that. And I admire how you look at it as well. And I think you hit on such a great point. Truth. Like, remove the emotion, right? Like you said, you could become aggressive sometimes. Remove the emotion. What's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Was it delivered soft and fluffy and packaged in a bow? Or was it aggressive and rough and right to your face, whether you liked it or not?
Yeah.
I don't think the emotion matters. I think where the fact lies.
Hmm.
That's a profound statement, man. When did you realize that?
I say about 5 or 6 years ago, it really kind of became more of a reality to me, and just helping me to mature and grow in those type of interactions. Because I know, especially my type of personality, I'm not like a aggressive type of person. I'm probably like that, what you call like passive aggressive. Like, of course, if someone backs you into a corner, it may force you to have to be more firm. But that's not my normal personality. So I maybe had a tendency to avoid certain conflicts or confrontations or delay certain conversations that were going to be harsh conversations. But just as I mature and grow, I don't view that as a negative thing. I just view it as, oh man, seeing someone else's viewpoint and accepting it and putting value and seeing how I can bring a solution to it.
The solution, I think, is such a key part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's that solve? Like you said earlier, that win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Why is win-win so important to you? Like, really, why? Like, you can go through life and you can win and you can rise people up with you and you can help, but like, I could feel it in your soul. That's important. Why is that so important?
So really, I want to leave people with just a good experience, and obviously that sometimes it's not possible for whatever circumstance, but I say I want to, and there's been a lot of times in business where I may take the short end of the stick, to let someone else have a better outcome. Because in my mind, I know I'm going to continue doing more things. So I said, man, I'm willing to take a loss or take a smaller amount on this so someone else can win. But I don't know. I don't want nothing on my conscience feeling like I left someone else hanging.
Ooh, got goosebumps, bro, when you said that. Someone on your conscience, you don't want them leaving. How does that make you feel, Free? Not having that? Those people on your conscience?
I mean, yeah, it's most definitely a freedom in it, and just knowing that you did everything that you legitimately could do to make sure someone else was taken care of.
I love it. Does that come from your spiritual background or?
I would say so,
Yeah.
yes. But just knowing that I believe I'm gonna be accountable for how I treat other people. And like obviously there's times that like especially in business things could go not as expected, but I believe that this thought came to me years ago of integrity, that integrity is not never having problems or obstacles or things going perfect, but integrity is how you respond when it doesn't go perfect. Like, so almost like having this good customer service, like where if you got a complaint, like if you ever reached out to a company, you have a complaint about something and then they respond and they resolve it, like you still have a good perception of them. So I look at it even myself, like if something doesn't go as expected in business, I look at how do I respond to solve it and to resolve it in a way to make sure they still have a positive outcome. So just like if you went through the drive-through and they messed up your sandwich and you got to go back through and say, hey, I didn't want pickles. Y'all got pickles on here. So do they just say, well, that's your problem. Go on about your day. Or do they take it back and they resolve it and give you the sandwich you want? So I want to make sure that I'm taking the pickles off people's sandwiches when I need to.
I love it, man. I love it. It's such a good analogy because we've all experienced that, right? And I love how you relate that back, like the business side of it, back to your personal life, right? And how you show up, your personal brand, what's important to you. Is that something that you just decided one day that your personal brand, how William shows up, is going to be similar to how you would run a business around great customer service?
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I never thought of it like that. I love the through line there. It makes so much sense. With taking the pickles off, let's talk about that for a second. Is that something where you believe that it makes sense to live the long game, knowing that you could take a little bit less, knowing that the relationship may further, knowing that the future is going to hold wealth for you because you're showing up wealthy, right? Inward and outward of your actions. Like, to talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would agree 100% where, just seeing beyond the short term, knowing that how I treat this person or how I respond, that even if it looks like I'm losing or not getting what I thought I was going to get on the front end, but if I know if I'm constantly taking care of other people, that it's going to pay off in the long run.
It reminds me of a story. I was on a real estate deal, and the person I did the deal with went into legal, and without getting into all the info and the data, they didn't get the money. I didn't get the money. Everybody else got the money. And you talked about integrity. You talked about showing up. You talked about trying to make the best of it. And this gentleman that, I invested with, he, even though he never got the money, he was making payments back on my initial contribution out of his own pocket, out of his own side deals, and out of his 9 to 5, whatever he was doing, grinding to get back up, right? Because he lost way more money than I did, way more, a lot, almost everything that he put into this relationship, this deal, this business. And that to me was just such a level of integrity because, did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt, right? Was there an expectation to get a big return? Yeah, right, for both of us. But the friendship stayed true. The relationship, being there when we needed each other, talking through the mindset, right? Of wow, we thought we were going to get this and we got nothing. And that hurts. But that integrity, that level of consistency and that relationship, it ended up turning into me actually giving him some advice on what action to take. And that action sped up things and things are getting resolved. And to think back, we would not have had that conversation if he didn't do the right thing or if he didn't try to do everything and make the best of the situation, right? Because if we weren't still in contact and still friends and still talking through this process, I wouldn't have given him that advice. He wouldn't have made a change in what he was doing and coming close to resolution at this point. So it's just wild because for him, I can only imagine how hard it was to do the right thing, to continue to pay me a little bit back monthly based on my major contribution, not knowing where it could land in the courts, right? Not knowing where this situation or scenario ends. And now that relationship, I'm grateful to have advised that and to have that relationship to even just make a recommendation, let alone speed up the process to get to what he wants and what I want in the end as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, that journey, that long-term play, right? Because that might not have happened if he took the short term, if he took well, I got screwed too, see you later.
Yeah.
Has there been any situations in your life where someone has been a great example of how you show up and how you look for the better in those situations?
So what do you mean when you say
Just
that?
like, obviously you've got your spiritual background, but is there anybody that you look up to? Is there
I
anybody
see.
else that is in your world that you admire, that lives this way, that you could maybe share your experiences with?
I would say I've had a few different people who relate great integrity and that show just a genuineness of heart and mind in business and personally. So I can't just say one person. There's probably attributes I see in a lot of people that I strive to pull from and learn from.
So you're like me. You're like, let me grab this good stuff, put it in the front pocket. The
Yeah,
bad stuff, we'll throw it over the shoulder, maybe put it in the back pocket.
yeah. Hmm.
It's we've got to make it our own, right? Like, you've got to be an individual. You've got to bring your flavor to it, your alignment, your creativity.
Hmm.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. Let's dive into this, a burning question I have for you. Mr. Flippy, your business, you've got the mascot, you've got your music videos, you've got your rap songs. That is a very unique way to build a brand in 2025. Why did you decide to go that route? Why did you decide to lean into those things that most businesses aren't doing, right? Like, you came to Impact Effect, you've got your mascot, you've got your truck wrapped, you've dove fully into your brand, you make the music videos, you're posting them, they're getting all this traction. Like, where did that stuff come from?
I would say it's probably maybe just the accumulation of different aspects of my personality into one. So obviously I love real estate, like it's my business, but then I love creativity, like having fun. I love music. So it kind of just all blended together into one dynamic brand and marketing scheme. And I say it probably took a few years because I would say for many years I probably was piecing together things like I was doing real estate, but I was dibbling and dabbling in music over here and doing certain creative things, but it wasn't coherent cohesive or feeding each other. So, probably about a year and a half ago, kind of like that light bulb moment came together where I could blend it all together. And now I'm seeing more momentum with it. So I would say it's the accumulation of a cohesive effort.
I love it. I love it.
Using my good vocabulary today.
I love it though, because it's you, man. Like it's you, and you can feel it. You can feel the authentic energy. You can feel that you're having fun. And I think we forget that in a lot of our brands and business and things like that. Why was it so important for you to make everything cohesive and everything serve and feed each other?
I guess because I see that's how you can just build the best momentum where, if it's all channeling towards the same direction so that I'm not taking efforts that pull away from what I'm doing. So I see how the creative aspect, the musical, the business, the entrepreneurial, it's all feeding the same energy, the same direction.
Sounds like you're in alignment. How does that feel?
But no, it feels great. I can see that when you are aligned, that's when you can begin to see real progress and exponential results.
I love it. I love it. Exponential results when you're aligned. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. With your music, your videos, the mascot, Mr. Flippy, the real estate, the entrepreneurial, the family life, how is balance? How does balance work for you? You're a busy guy. You got a lot going on. How do you balance it all?
So I say probably take some help, like making sure that I don't get too overly busy or tunnel visioned on just one aspect to, that I'm not focused on my business so much that I neglect my family, or also that I'm not too, relaxed. I'm not focused on the business. So I say, man, every day is just I got to just be sensitive inwardly to know when something doesn't seem aligned, or I feel like I'm getting home too late, every day, that I said, man, I may need to take off and work half a day tomorrow to make sure I spend time with my kids. So I can't just say it's a cookie cutter formula, kind of just having that inner sensitivity to know when I should devote time towards different aspects of what I'm doing.
I love it. I love it.
And I tell you off the camera too, and my wife, she helps me too. She'll tell me if I'm not doing right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's important to have that communication, that partner, right? That's partnership, is like, hey, I know you love your business. I know you're focused on it, but we need some more family time, or we've got this, we can't cancel this vacation, or we can't cancel this trip. And I think that's important. And it's admirable. It's admirable, one, for you to be vulnerable enough to say, my wife helps me with this and I need her help. Right. And then two, I think it's admirable that you guys communicate at a level that seeks and continues to build true partnership.
I
think
agree.
those are two things that people skip over a lot in the world.
Man, I
especially
agree.
business owners and crazy ass entrepreneurs like you and me, man. Right? Sometimes we just get carried away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I agree.
As we wrap up, one thing that I could feel through our conversation and kind of was a theme was you had talked a lot about inward, working in to then work out, right? Can you just talk about your experiences with that and why it's so important, and how you remind yourself and stay focused inward so that way you can show up authentically you outwardly?
Yeah. So I say a couple years ago, I had an opportunity to finish and writing a book, and it was called Unlocked. That was the name of the book. And it basically it was called the 3 keys of reaching your full potential. And in that, the 3 keys were inspiration, introspection, and implementation. And the middle one is introspection. And I probably said that was probably the most important one. And what introspection is, the process of looking within yourself. And I've discovered that's been transformative in my life, just because, say, like when things don't go as planned in business or personally, like a lot of times we can have the tendency to want to look outwardly, to blame others and say, well, this is happening to me because of them or because of that, instead of taking time to look within to say, what can I do different, or how can I be better? So I say, when I take time to look within myself instead of looking externally, it keeps me in more of a state of peace, because now I'm not putting the outcome of my life based on what others do or what circumstances do. Because like I said, there's things in this world, man, I can't control. I can't control what's going on in the government or in, different countries, or if we're at war and all this stuff. Like, I can only control what I do. So that's what I strive to live by, is to control my thoughts, my actions, and my decisions as best as I can.
Whew, man. What a masterclass right there, dude. No, I couldn't agree more. And the clarity you have around that, I would assume, has come from the fact that you spent so much time on a book and on that section and that second key, right? What was that process like? Writing the book and then doing it internally? Like, was it hard?
I wouldn't say it was hard. Like, I mean, we're just being, I guess it's truthful and genuine, but I would say, no, it wasn't hard. I just say it was having that reality of I call it that inward life, where I always look within first. And obviously it has to be intentional. Like, it still can be thoughts that want to look external, but then when I start to turn it inward and look within myself to see how can I be better, how can I change. And even when we talked earlier about dealing with people who come off negative, like, I always look to see, is what they're saying the truth? And then if it is, I look, okay, how can I apply that to my life to be a better person? So I always say, I'm never trying to be better than someone else. The only person I want to be better than is yesterday's version of myself. So if I can constantly be better than that person, I'll be making progress.
Progress. I love it. Progress. Man, what a great episode. Thanks for just being here. Thanks for pouring it out. Is there anything else you want to leave with our audience?
Well, first, I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity to come with you. And I say, maybe if anyone wants to learn more about what we're doing, they can check out MrFlippy.com. They can check us out and see how crazy we are.
Check it out, MrFlippy.com. William does an amazing job with what he does. Everything you heard here in this recording podcast, if you're on audio in the car, is the truth. And that's based on our friendship and relationship over the last couple of years. That's why I was so excited to have him on. I'm so excited for you to hear his truth. And I think that's really important, and especially in today's world. So thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.